Welcome back to SPN News, where we discuss the news of the day. Today's top story, Vought International CEO Ashley Barrett has had a shareholders release leaked to the public. The leaked release cites a lot of the company's financials, including double-digit increases in crime-fighting contracts and Vought Plus subscriptions. Joining me on the show today is Sean from his home office. Hey Sean, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good to be here, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
Sean, you've seen the leaked release, correct?
I have, and I gotta say, it sounds like a lot of great news coming out of Vought, especially on the financial front. Double-digit growth in crime-fighting contracts makes me think it's a great time to buy Vought stock.
Interesting point, but speaking of crime-fighting contracts, don't you think the increase in contracts has more to do with the rise of crime in the city and around the world, and more to do with the fact that Vought kind of has a monopoly on superheroes at this point? There's no one else to turn to.
Regardless of why it's rising, the increase in contracts means more money in Vaught's pocket, and therefore they can invest that in their heroes and in the country.
That's true, and they are working on the reconstruction of Vought Tower, but don't you think that should be their responsibility anyway? It was kind of wrecked by a soup.
It was, but not a soup working for Vought. In fact, I would say that Vought saved not only the majority of their building, but the city. And they've been able to do this while staying under budget.
True, they claim to have stayed under budget, but we haven't seen any hard numbers yet.
It's true, we haven't seen the hard numbers, but that will all come out in their financial statements. So, do you think they're lying about it? What would be the point of that?
They could just be trying to drum up support to raise their stock prices before they release their financials.
Andrew, that's tricky ground. What you're saying is straight up fraud. Are you openly accusing Vought of fraud?
Oh, absolutely not. I would never do that. I'm just saying that we haven't seen anything, so it's hard to take them at their word as of the moment. I'm sure everything they said is absolutely true, except we don't know where Black Noir is. Now, Ms. Barrett did show us a kind of a blurry photo of what they claim to be Black Noir in the background of a photo, but it's hard to know that that's really him or where he is.
And you want them to broadcast where Black Noir is? Put his location out there and have his enemies, as well as enemies of our country, know what he's attempting to do? Andrew, it's very important that you keep these things quiet, because otherwise you put us all in jeopardy.
Well, no, you make a good point, but at least why are they showing where he is? That it feels like, why would you show us a photo of him if you're not trying to cover something up? Keep it under wraps until he comes home, and then tell us how well he's succeeded at his mission.
So you want them to tell us where Black Noir is, or you want them to keep it a secret? You can't have it both ways. And in my opinion, Vought has done it great. Also, so good that look at Homelander's approval ratings. They're going sky high.
No, that is true, and we here at SPN have always been on record as being behind Homelander and all of his actions in the past and going forward. Speaking of approval ratings, though, do you think it was smart of Vought to remind us of Starlight and use the word traitor in their release?
Listen, with Starlight, I don't even want to say her name anymore, but what she did was reprehensible, okay? The fact that this happened, Vought came clean and told us, and listen, we have to be realistic. There are enemies abroad and at home, and Vought is taking care of this, and I think they're doing a pretty great job. Do you disagree?
Oh, absolutely not. This is a tough job these superheroes are doing for our country and our world. It's a job I would never want or would never be able to do. But there are some people still interested in doing it, and to that point, Ms. Barrett's release mentioned that Vought is still looking for new members of the Seven. What do you think about that?
This is honestly something I'm very excited about. I think Ashley Barrett has done a great job in her very short time as the CEO, and she has a plethora of different heroes to select.
Any suggestions?
Yeah, absolutely. In my opinion, there are probably three that boil to the top. For me, the first one is Tech Knight. He's smart, he could build anything, he'd be a great American addition to the team. Second, I think Groundhawk could be a great team member. Sure, he's had his issues with alcohol and some violence, but there's no argument that he could do the job. And finally, and I think my number one selection would be Ezekiel. Honestly, bringing a God-fearing man into the Seven and into Vought Towers could really humble the team, and I think that would really bring the camaraderie and the strength from the 7. We'll certainly find out in the next few months, as Ashley Barrett, as CEO, has been given a contract extension of 7 months.
Vought does love that number 7, so hopefully that works out for her, Vought, and all of us. This has been SPN News. Thanks for joining us today, Sean. Do you have anything you'd like to plug? Where can we see you next?
Absolutely. You can see me next on Splash Page Video, where every Friday we are reviewing episodes of Vox Machina. And of course, when the boys comes back on air, come to Splash Page Video, as we'll be doing reviews of every episode.
Sounds great. Love that page. Coming up next, Wynn Buckley with traffic and weather. But first, a word from our sponsors.